No, I didn't want to leave him. I didn't want this to be the reality. I didn't want to have the man I was in love with.
It's insane to hear heinous accusations. Awful. I wanted
Ladies and gentlemen, these words are a window into the heart and mind of America's freedom power. This is the real Johnny Depp.
It's not Miss Hurley's story. It was an act of profound cruelty, not just to Mr. Depp, but to true survivors of domestic abuse.
As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $0. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million.
No, I didn't want to leave him. I didn't want this to be the reality. I didn't want to have the man I was in love with.
It's insane to hear heinous accusations. Awful. I wanted
This is the real Johnny Depp.
It's not Miss Rhodes' story. It was an act of profound cruelty, not just to Mr. Depp, but to true survivors of domestic abuse.
As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $0. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million.
Hi everyone, thank you for watching again. Welcome to our After Pain live stream. So we had all the weeks of trial. Johnny Depp won. So what happened after that? So we will have a look and discuss the case again. This will be the last time, I promise. Not only that, we have found some interview with another celebrity that actually went through a real domestic violence, so we will have a look at that and then actually see the difference in how they behave. Like, there is a big thing going on at the moment, especially about real survivors of domestic violence. So we will have to talk about that as well. So please let us know what you think. And what can I say? It has been a nice couple of weeks after, while Johnny is just doing his thing and Amber isn't really making it any easier on herself. So I have some video clips for you guys, so let's have a look and see what's going on. So I will break it so we can actually
No,
discuss
I didn't want to leave him. I didn't want this to be the reality. I didn't want to have the man I was in love with.
And that isn't the right one, I reckon. Great. Having some technical problems. Let me see. So anyway, how have you guys been? I hope everything is okay. Okay. That's better. They actually look like each other. So, yeah, here we see the statement Johnny actually brought out. So, 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the life of people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed. All in the blink of an eye. False, very serious and criminal allegations were leveled at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought against me. It had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after a considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth, regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support of the kindness from around the world. I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped others, men or women, who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to innocent until proven guilty, both within the courts and in the media. I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge, the jurors, the court staff, and the sheriffs who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point, and to my diligent and unwavering legal team who did an extraordinary job in helping me to share the truth. The best is yet to come, and a new chapter has finally begun. So that one is from Johnny, as we all know. I actually really liked his statements. Like, no.
This is a song for Miss Hedy Lamar, erased by the same one who made her a star. Spun out her beauty, trapped by its web. She's a perfect cocoon, twined in gold thread.
So that was Gianni performing in London. Then we, of course, all, well, I don't know if all saw it, but he had another statement to all of my most treasured, loyal, and unwavering supporters. We've been everywhere together. We have seen everything together. We have walked the same road together. We did the right thing together, all because you cared. And now we will all move forward together. You are, as always, my employers, and once again I am whittled down to no way to say thank you other than just by saying thank you. So thank you. My love and respect, JD. Well, I thought it was quite nice of him to actually saying those things. I think Amber actually thought different about it. The only thing I was a bit not that it really minds, like, okay, the judge said they didn't have to be there, but I don't know. like if you start a whole trial and bringing the whole case, I think, um, and to his legal team as well, like it would have been nice to be actually be in court the moment the verdict came in, and maybe on the other hand it actually is what he is saying in his statement, like, okay, this wasn't about anything, this was just about telling the truth, and that's it. It wasn't about the money, it wasn't about any other thing, um, but just for him to actually tell his story. So I think when that came out, he was like, oh yeah, done it, and that's it. Um, so I'm not really sure how I feel about him not appearing in court to hear the verdict. You know, it's there's just people going through everything. Like for 6 weeks, it's well. But he had a nice performance, a couple of them with Jeff Beck in London. It's for a moment things were actually slowing a bit down, like, and we will see that in a couple of seconds. The interview with Elaine, who did that straight away the day after. So when we got that out of the way, things started to slow a bit down. And then Amber had to give a statement. What we will see. I think that statement, by the way, was one of the biggest reasons I actually decided to have an after-paying stream. Because like her and her lawyers, they like, and it's a credibility, you know, I understand it from her part. It's not that she really can say at the moment, oh yeah, it actually didn't really happen like that. On the other hand, maybe it would save her instead of bringing out certain things that I'm like, well, you can't say that. No. So Amber's statement, that was the one straight after. So the disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It's a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorneys succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore the evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. I am sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost the right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. Okay. Should I do this now or should I wait? Okay, a little bit then. For fuck's sake, Amber. Really? You're going to talk about the right to speak freely and openly as an American. You're we're going to talk about the Sixth Amendment. Okay. So, you can talk freely and you can talk openly. You can say whatever you want to say. But you can't lie. That's the whole thing. Like, it doesn't matter what you say, how you say it, if it's offensive or not offensive, it doesn't really matter. But it needs to be true. So, the moment you lie and you make other people's life miserable with your lies, no, then you have to shut up. You can't do that. You can't make other people's life miserable. And that's the other thing, guys. Like, it's not just Johnny. It's everybody else as well. And I actually really think that it cost her a lot as well. Like, if we looked um, in the trial, like, her best friend isn't her best friend anymore. The only person who is actually still there is her sister. The makeup artist she had for I don't know how long isn't there anymore. So everybody got infected by this case and about the lies. So let's go on. Just in case you like to read it.
Yeah, a major setback for women inside the courtroom and outside the courtroom.
Because?
Because basically what this said, Amber had an enormous amount of evidence, although a lot of it was suppressed in this case as opposed to the UK. But look at all the women who have no evidence. All these women who suffer from domestic violence, domestic abuse, they don't have evidence. And basically what this jury said is unless you pull out your cell phone and you tape record your spouse beating you,
there is a reason for that, Elaine. There is a reason that victims and survivors of domestic violence don't have a pile of evidence. And I think that was another big thing in that case is how. How do you get a pile of bloody evidence when you're a victim of domestic violence? Because in most cases, and let me say most cases, like 95% of the 100 probably, domestic violence victims are too afraid. They're too ashamed and they're feeling guilty. So they're not running around with their cell phone to make videos. They're not hiding their phone to actually capture something that will make their spouse or partner or the abuser in this case look bloody bad. They don't do that. The only evidence, again 95% of the time, when a domestic violence case or a sexual assault or intimate partner violence case is coming to court, it's because the police actually took pictures, that a situation got actually really bad and the police get involved. Now, we heard during the trial as well that the police came to the house, like twice. We saw the body cam recordings. We heard the police officers testifying. There was no proof. There was nothing that looked like domestic violence. Okay, they didn't see things on her face or whatsoever, or bruises. Okay, so no, it's not a setback for women. Okay, this case should actually empower them. But thank you, Amber, for making it so much harder for people actually to come out. Because when you look at domestic violence survivors, they're really ashamed. Okay? It's really hard for them to actually talk about what happened to them. You know, in a lot of cases, they feel it's their fault. If they were in a relationship with a narcissistic son of a toot, they always will tell the victims it was their fault. So, no, a jury doesn't need piles and piles of evidence, but they need the truth. And sometimes there is no justice, especially in domestic violence cases, because it is so hard to prove. It is really hard to actually show what happened, especially behind closed doors. But in this case, I think a part of what actually killed Amber was that there was no evidence, or there was too much evidence. Like, which person is making pictures when your spouse is or passed out on the couch in such a way, okay, that were embarrassing pictures. Like, I can make a picture of my partner passing out, but that's just to say, look, you're asleep again. But they're cuties, okay? Those pictures weren't cute, they weren't nice. So why would you do that? So in this case, the pile of evidence, and in the same time the lack of the pile of evidence, because okay, you have Johnny passed out on, what was it, 3-4 couple of occasions, one with the ice cream spilled all over him. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously. Like, if I'm actually in love with a person, okay, and I care for that person, and yeah, he might be drunk and completely out of his brain, or maybe he is really tired, because let's be honest, maybe he had a 17-hour work week, we don't know. But if I look at myself and I'm seeing that, and ice cream is like spilled all over, I actually would try to or clean it or to help him. Especially when you're in a domestic violence situation, because if he wakes up and he sees the mess, you're screwed. Like, you better clean it up straight away. So, but then let's go to the bed story. You know, we saw the side of the bed, and then the little pocket knife on the bed. I think they forgot actually to get rid of that pocket knife, because that was a bit stupid, wasn't it? Anyways, so you make a picture of that, but then you don't make the pictures of the bloody pillowcases. What? No. You do. That's the first picture you take if you're an evidence collector. Okay? Jesus, maybe there is a job for her in CSI or something. Anyways, so your pile of evidence is huge. Huge. But then you're missing really important pictures. So why aren't there well, you know what I mean, okay? So no, Elaine, you don't need a pile of evidence, and this is what actually and that's why I wanted to do this stream, because it's really pissing me off. It really is pissing me off. Don't make women feel like they can do anything, and that's what she is doing by saying that, oh, it's such a setback for women because they need a pile of evidence when they actually want to bring charges. Okay, now let's say you're a domestic violence survivor, and a real one, okay? Or a sexual assault survivor, or an IPV. And you're seeing that interview. What would you think? You will not press charges. You will not even get out the bloody fucking relationship, because when you see that and you hear that, the only thing what's coming in your mind, and let's say that's a wounded mind if you're still in a relationship, like, oh, I can't go anywhere because I don't have a pile of evidence, so there is no use. Thank you, Elaine, for making it so much harder for people who are in violent relationships. Like, get out. Okay, the moment that you're in a domestic violence relationship, or any violent relationship at all, try to get out. And it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things you probably have to do. But you are not alone. Okay? And we will go through that in a couple of seconds. But it's not how Elaine is saying it. Okay? Because if you're the survivor, or the victim, you don't have piles and piles and piles of evidence, because that's not how it works in the real world. Okay, let's see what else she has.
They did not believe her. Why do you think they did not believe her?
I think that a lot of that was that it was Johnny Depp. I think the celebrity status.
But she's a celebrity too.
Yes, Elaine. Like, what the hell? We didn't believe her because she wasn't telling the truth. It's not Johnny. It's not the whole audience and the people who were standing there at 1 o'clock waiting for their wristbands that you lost your case. Like, really? I can't stand people that are always blaming others. Oh, they didn't believe Amber. Yeah, but that's because Johnny is a celebrity. What? Really? Okay.
I am a former NFL player, and after a hard loss, it's easy to wake up and point to the other side. Oftentimes, I realized the better thing to do was to look in the mirror. What mistakes did I make as a player? What mistakes did our coaching staff make? And then how can we improve from there? Do you feel like you guys made any mistakes along the way? Do you feel like Amber made a mistake while she was on the stand? Because you're saying it's the celebrity, it's Johnny, it's the people who support him. But what about you and your team?
Well, and that's an excellent question. And to say, and you know, Amber even said on the stand, I am not perfect. I am a human being. These people were giving her death threats. They threatened to microwave her baby.
That wasn't the question, Elaine. Did your team make any mistakes? Did Amber make any mistakes? It's not like, oh yeah, Amber said I'm not perfect, and then they said I will throw your baby in the microwave. And again, people really, like, okay, she lied, she made a lot of lives miserable, she did a lot of bad things, but what is that with telling a person to put their baby in their microwave? Like, you're worse. Okay? How can you say those things to people? It's. Come on. Or death threats. Like, really? Ugh. It's not necessary. You can actually say, oh, I'm not really agreeing with you. Or, well, that was a bitchy move, Amber. That isn't really nice. Okay? You can say a lot worse. You can even say, oh, you overused Flappy Fish Market. Christ, you ruined a man's life. But, really? Putting a baby in a microwave? Ah, come on, that's just sick, okay? On the other hand, did we actually hear Elaine said, oh, yeah, there were moments that we actually screwed up. And I think one of our biggest mistakes was redirecting witnesses and then ask questions we don't know the answer to and actually really fucked us up. Like, that's honest. No. Yeah, but because of the social media and the death threats, and she was even hearing. What? Yeah, so? That's the reason you're such a liar on the stand. Like, and if it was just one lie, like, people could have lived with that. That was like, oh, ooh. No, every bloody thing she said, Camille and Johnny's legal team just killed it. Like, every bloody single thing, or most things. Like, let's be honest, their relationship was really toxic, okay? And Johnny wouldn't be such a nice little angel when he is drinking and doing drugs, because they're fuckers. If they're in a bad mood and they're drinking and doing drugs, they become fucking assholes, okay? So he wouldn't be a little angel as well. So I'm not saying that at all. But he admitted it. No, I'm a monster. I can be a monster. You know, alcohol and drugs are a big issue. I'm not proud of it. I said things, but I never ever hit her. I never ever sexually assaulted her. And that's what it's all about. Like, if she just could, if she would have said on the stand, I can be a bitch. Like, but that wouldn't give him the right to, you know, it would be completely different. But now she is sitting, well, we will see that later on, and we all saw it during the trial, like doing her almost Gone with the Wind dying act. For me, mate. And it's not real. Then the stories are not real. Yeah, take the Hexville saga. Oh, the manager came, he was furious. Everything was broken, and then the bloody manager is coming on stand. And, well, the only thing that was broken was the light. I'm okay. Like, well, there you go, Amber. Like, gone. No, I didn't leak anything to TMC. And then the bloody guy is coming up. And then you still saying, oh no, I didn't do that. No, it wasn't me. Yes, it is. Christ, you are the copyright owner because you made the bloody video. Jesus. Anyways, so it's not Johnny, it's not social media. You guys really fucked up. And not just Amber. Like, Elaine. Oh, there were actually moments that you didn't do really smart things, did you now? Okay, let's go on, guys.
That they mutually abused each other. Do you not believe that that was the case?
No, and that's one of the many misnomers. The way that Depp's team approached this was based on ignorance of domestic violence. It completely ignored the cycle of violence and just said, oh, she wouldn't have done this if he had been hitting her. That was their approach.
So you thought that they weren't fighting fair?
Correct. I don't think they were fighting fair.
It's bloody court. You go into court and you expect a fair fight? That's not why I'm angry, though. Okay. What I can't stand is using the domestic violence every time over and over. And I think Johnny Depp's lawyers actually really understood how domestic violence works and how the circle of violence works. Okay? Because it doesn't work how you say it works. And I think the jury actually knew, well, it doesn't really work like that. Does it? So, and I think I will bring it up in a second. So
I think Amber Heard is, in fact, a survivor of domestic violence.
Yes, I absolutely believe that. And there's a tremendous amount of evidence, much of which did not come into this trial, did come into the UK trial.
And then the UK trial. What I also don't, and maybe they're a brilliant team, okay? Amber's lawyers and Amber are a great team. Because they're just lying and twisting the bloody truth. Because the fucking UK trial doesn't have to do anything with this trial. It was a completely different trial. Amber wasn't even a party in the trial. And then, to be honest, like, I even don't understand how the UK trial, because we all saw her testimonies there, and it was like, what the, really? You take that seriously? Anyways, but there is just one judge, okay? There is one judge, one English judge, who has to decide if that American bloke actually is or isn't a wife beater, according to the Sun. Okay, so the moment Amber is saying, he beat me, he abused me, he made me go through domestic violence, then she is saying that. Then the Sun actually can say Johnny Depp is a wife beater. Why? Because they have it first hand from the victim. So they can actually write it. Okay, that doesn't have to do anything with if Amber is true, yes or no. Like it wasn't Amber who was standing on trial. It was the Sun. And some people actually responded to this and they were like, oh really, oh the evidence didn't come in the UK. People, no, because it's completely different. It is not like a bloody court with your juries there. No, it's not. You have one judge and he has to decide if the Sun was right to call Johnny Depp a wife beater. Well, the Sun is English, the judge is English. Then you have Johnny Depp, the bloody American, but Johnny Depp couldn't tell his story there. It doesn't work like that. So, come on.
We even had more evidence. We had medical records. We had.
Here you go. Another thing. She had medical records in the UK trial. Why weren't they allowed in? Okay, well, there you go. Because in her own testimony, yes, in this trial, so we forget all about the UK trial now, but in this trial, she was asked multiple times, did you look or reached out for any medical attention after your beatings, the sexual assault, the and Amber's answer was no, I did not. So, what kind of medical records are we talking about then? And here we go. So, I'm Amber, yes, and I broke my nose. We will come to that as well. I broke my nose, and no, I didn't went to look for medical attention. But then 8 months later, I was sleeping with, oh no, sorry, that was 8 weeks. Well, let's say it wasn't weeks, okay? So I don't know how long later she was sleeping with Elon Musk and he was saying to her, Amber, I don't know if I can do this because you're snoring. Okay, so Amber goes to a doctor and say, Doctor, I'm snoring. And then he says, oh yeah, you have some scar tissue in your nose. Oh, that's because Johnny hit me. So the medical file was like, oh shit. She has some scar tissue in her nose. You know you can get scar tissue in your nose from doing cocaine as well. Just say. So the moment a judge is actually suppressing those kind of files, it really depends if it's like straight after yes or no. So that's a big difference, isn't it? Because we were all there that she didn't look for medical attention at all. What I think it's still weird. Okay, if you actually have, and we went through that in other live streams, so if you actually have been through some things she said, you're looking for medical attention even if you need to lie about it.
Mental health records that went back to 2012 that were contemporaneous.
Elaine, how is she today? What is her next move?
She's right. Well, her next move is appeal. There were
But she's heartbroken.
She is heartbroken. And one of the first things that she said when she came back from the verdict, when we went into the conference room, was, "I am so sorry to all these women."
She said that?
Yes. She felt like she had let down all of these women because she had more evidence than most people do.
Okay. You should feel sorry for all those women, Amber. And Elaine, she should feel sorry. Because these are women who went through hell. And some of them are still going through hell. And let me put up something. This is from an anonymous source. I thought it was really deep, so I will read it anyway. The person who wrote it did a pretty good job. So, Amber, no victim of domestic violence acts in the manner in which you do. You are the abuser, not the abused. You sold us a role, a character, the survivor, and we bought it eagerly. We supported you. We wept for you. We rallied behind you, and you betrayed us all. We trusted in you. You used our pain as you appropriated our stories, re-victimizing us. Then you weaponized our movement against the person you were abusing. All this for what? Merely another move in your twisted mind game to corner relevance, social currency, adulation, and more wealth. You toyed with his mind, making him believe that he was a monster. You convinced him that he was bringing your rage upon himself. You battered and berated him, and as all abusers do, you trained him to feel culpable and apologize to you. And this part is important, people. The minute survivors heard you say, "You make me do this," we knew who you really were. An abuser, and Johnny was your victim, a survivor. Today we wept for Johnny. We know the pain of not being believed, but you did something much worse to him. You made the world believe he was abusing you. You bragged he had power and you could take it from him with your lies. You set out to destroy his life, to vilify him, and you taunted him with it. You overlooked one thing. Us, women, survivors. We can recognize abuse when we see and hear it. Listening to you has been torturously painful, triggering, and unbearable for many. Your gender didn't hide that you are a perpetrator of domestic abuse from us. The harm you have done going forward to every woman who goes to report domestic violence is immeasurable. You did that. But you've reminded the army of survivors that abuse has no gender, and that a man who speaks out about being abused must to be heard. Today we stand with him. He did. He finally did. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell him, I, Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence. And see if people believe or side with you. We believe him, but we side against you.
See what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
Yes.
It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if for fair fight my ass.
Exactly, because you're.
So, I thought that statement, sorry if it's a bit noisy, guys. Rain is pouring down again. So, I really thought that was a very, very strong statement. And the statement is right. Okay? That is not how survivors of domestic violence act. They just don't. Before I go on, I want to give you guys a warning that this part and what's coming may be triggering for people who actually went through domestic violence. So if you watch on, please know that there can be, we will have a look to or at a celebrity who actually really went through domestic violence and see the difference in reactions. And I will show you actually a clip, and we all were talking about how Amber was stealing clips out of movies, and now we will see Amber stealing the stories of actually true survivors. So please be aware that there will be real domestic violence victims speaking, so it can be triggering. Okay, here we go.
See him anymore. It wasn't him. It was black. I've never been so scared in my life. It was black. I couldn't see him, and I couldn't see him at all.
So that was Amber's testimony, and I think 2007 or 2009, Rihanna actually got beaten up. Let's listen to her and see the difference in reaction.
He had no soul in his eyes, just blank. He was clearly blacked out. There was no person when I looked at him. I was battered. I was bleeding. I was swollen in my face. There was no way of me getting home, except for my next option was to get out of the car and start walking in a gown and a bloody face. So I really don't know what was my plan. I didn't have a plan. That whole night was not part of my plan.
That's what stuck with so many people.
Absolutely, but nobody could feel that more than me. I was hurt the most. Nobody felt what I felt. Like, so it was...
You hurt the most because it happened?
It happened. It happened to me. And it happened to me in front of the world. It was embarrassing, it was humiliating, it was hurtful. You know, it's not easy. I lost my best friend. Like, everything I knew switched. And that's not easy for me to understand or interpret. And it's not easy to interpret on camera, not with the world watching. So it was hard for me to even pay attention to my mind and figuring things out, because now it became a circus and I felt protective. Like, I felt like the only person they hate right now is him. It was a weird, confusing space to be in, because as angry as I was, as angry and hurt and betrayed, I just felt like he made that mistake because he needed help, and like, who's gonna help him?
So that's how a survivor of domestic violence talks. Now, she wasn't even thinking about herself. And like Rihanna, Chris Brown, everybody knew them. They were like big people. So going through that life is horrible. You don't pose for photos. Okay? You don't. Let's hear what she has to say.
My selfish decision for love could result into some young girl getting killed. I could not be easy with that part. I couldn't be held responsible for telling them, go back. Chris, even if Chris never hit me again, who's to say that their boyfriend won't? Who's to say that they won't kill these girls? And these are young girls, and I just didn't realize how much of an impact I had on these girls' lives until that happened.
So, like, it's horrific where she had to go through, okay? And I'm 1000% sure that she didn't want that whole circus to be there. But she also knew that girls, women, are looking at her as well. Like, she's a role model. And people put her on like a big thing, but she's human. She made mistakes. And I think the worst, or maybe the best thing, is that she actually noticed that she is the role model for so many young girls. And maybe if she were not, it would take her a lot longer to actually leave him. You know, and that's normal. Like, women actually go back, and men or domestic violence victims go back to their abusive partner for 8 to 9 times before they really finally stop. And it's really hard for other people to understand why. But your self-esteem, your worth, your everything is taken away from you. Okay, it isn't that easy. It isn't black and white. Oh, he hates you, get out. I'm actually really admire people who can do that. And it's just slowly moving in as well. Okay, so we will have a look at a small part of another domestic violence survivor. In like one of our next streams and one of our next videos as well, we will go deeper into domestic violence, sexual assault, and IPV. We'll explain more about it, but I really thought it's important for people around the world to actually see what real survivors feel like. Like if I'm looking at TikTok or sometimes on Facebook or Insta, and that's another thing. Thank you, Amber, but people are making fun about it. Okay? People are making fun because Amber lied. She lied. But don't forget that her story, what she tried to put in the script and act out, is somebody's real story. It's a story from a person who actually went through that. And people seem to forget it. Okay, people seem to forget that there are actually people who are going through that pain right now. And they have to see or went through it, are survivors. And they have to see all the funny videos about their story, even if it's not about them but about Amber. But that just open wounds. That's hard. It's really hard to see people making fun about a subject because some not happy with herself person, Amber, did such a horrible thing. Okay, so have a look and please, it's triggering, okay?
I'm 30. I have 3 little girls. Because I could barely stand up. I was so lightheaded. He's like, you better keep up. You better not fall behind. And I'd fall behind a little bit and he'd hit me, knock me down. And I knew when I got to the other side of that field what was going to happen. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm about to die. I'm for real about to die, this is it. And I was coming to terms with it. When I think about it, oh my God, I almost died. And I lived. I don't want anybody else to go through that. That was so horrible. I remember putting my hands on my face. I did like this and I looked down and all I seen was blood poured out. You could have took my shirt off and wringed it out in a bucket. It was so covered in blood. And when I did that, I guess from sitting there, my adrenaline had slowed down and the pain hit me. You can live, you can get away, and there's always somebody that will take you in, that will do for you, that will help you help yourself. Always, there's people out there that care even when you don't know they're there. They're there, I promise. You just reach out. Don't be scared to reach out. There's not just him A whole world of people out there care. And I didn't love myself 3 weeks ago, and today I wouldn't. I love myself more than anything in this world. And I'm happy every day that I wake up, and I know that I'm loved because I'm supported by so many people that I didn't even know existed. There's people out there that care.
So that's how your face look when you actually get beaten up. Okay. So let's think about all the men, women, any survivors, any victims of domestic violence, and they actually listen and see Amber sitting in a courtroom and telling her lies. That's painful, people. Especially when you know that she's lying. And I know it will never happen, but before you post things and actually think it's funny, just realize that that can be a person's real story. Okay, and what she did and still does, and that's what pissing me off. She still does it. She still put herself as a victim of domestic violence. No, the girl you just saw, that's a victim of domestic violence. That's a survivor. Rihanna, and I even didn't show you pictures of Rihanna's face. Look it up. Like, that's how you look when you get beaten up. Okay? That is a real victim and a real survivor of domestic violence. And you have seen both girls. And again, like, we will have a video and live stream of what's more going deeply into IPV, domestic violence and sexual assault. But see the difference in how they react. And Rihanna, she was a public figure. She still is. But she felt horrible. Okay, she didn't want to talk. And the only reason that she finally, because it took a while before she actually told her story, was to protect other girls, especially young girls who find themselves in relationships and getting abused. So with this, I will say goodbye to you guys, and or Amber is going to do something really stupid, like actually appeal when she can, because come on, really. Then we will be back with our Johnny Depp and Amber Heard saga stories, but in this case, I hope this will be the end of it. Like, I hope that Johnny get his roles again so we can enjoy him. I hope Disney to give Johnny like 3 million alpacas, llamas, goats. I don't care, just bring him back as Captain Jack Sparrow, please. We're still waiting, by the way, on an official statement from Warner Bros. Like, there has been a lot of things in the media about Amber's part in Aquaman 2. So first, a lot of people said, well, she has been cut out of the movies. What wasn't officially announced, by the way. And now it's going that she actually gets more time in the movie. That's pissing me off as well. Okay, so why is it that if a man is getting I'm so angry, I forgot my words. So if a woman is saying a man sexually assaulted her, abused her, he get fired and have problems. But then when a woman is actually the bloody perpetrator, then we keep her in a movie? What? So if a man does it, he is out. Like Hollywood drew the line by assault. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's domestic or sexual or whatsoever. The moment that there is abuse or assault, you're done. But Hollywood, that works both ways as well. Like, can you actually let me know what kind of a bloody low life example you are giving when you keep her in the movie? Like, what's that? And what is that saying to actually survivors of real domestic violence or assault? Like, oh, you can lie your fucking face off at court and ruin somebody's life and still enjoy? No. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. It needs to work the same. So if he is getting banned from bloody Disney, what was a bit sad because, come on. We even didn't know if it was true. Like, if it was really true, there would be criminal charges. But anyways, so we lost Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay? Painful. Because nobody likes Pirates of the Caribbean without bloody Captain Jack Sparrow. Just saying. Then we lost Johnny in Fantastic Beasts because he is a perpetrator. But now it actually seems that it's the other way around. But hey, let's keep Amber in bloody Aquaman. And what kind of message is that sending, people? Like, fuck me, mate. It doesn't matter if she's a woman. So, like, what is it, 2-3 weeks on, there is still no official statement. None. Like, and she got paid anyway, so she doesn't lose anything, but it would be a bit respectful to actually say, you're the abuser. You're the perpetrator. Nah, we don't do this. So, I really want to know what's going on, and I really would like to hear an official statement from Warner Bros. What they actually are going to do. but it's really pissing me off. Like every bloody man in Hollywood over the last couple of years who behaved like a dick. Okay, they got or to court, or to jail, or to I don't know what. They were humiliated. Like, look at Johnny. Like, it was that he had a lot of supporters. Okay, and I think he was lucky that there were a lot of people who still believed in him. But it must have been hell. That people actually see you and think about you or talk about you as a wife beater. And what about his kids? You know? So now when it turns out to be the other way around, Hollywood should do exactly the same bloody thing. Instead of, well, she's a girl. What? No, that's not like a loony girl. That's a bloody calculated bitch that actually needs to feel what she has done. Because I'm almost okay, let's say 75-80% sure that Johnny will actually say to her, okay, Amber, you know what? You sign a piece of paper that you will never, ever, 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 ever talk about me being an abuser again, and we forget about the bloody 10.3 million you still owe me, or 8 million, still enough, and you go on with your life, I'm going on with my life, because it isn't for the money. Okay, he doesn't give a shit. But I actually think it depends what Amber wants to do. Like, and that's a bit narcissistic if she actually does it. Like, still blaming him, going into appeal if she can afford it. It's like, it's nice to, oh, I'm going to appeal, but you lose a lot of money, legal fees again, then you still have to pay 8 million to Johnny. Like, you can't actually ask bankruptcy because it's she really tried to harm him. So then bankruptcy isn't on the table. Apparently, yes. I have listened to some lawyer. Plus, she can appeal, but then it's going to the court, and then they actually have to decide that or the judge or the jury made such big mistakes to actually overturn the verdict. And I've listened to a lot of lawyers, they don't really are convinced that will happen. So then you're going into more debt because those lawyer fees aren't cheapy. So if she is going to appeal, so it really depends, doesn't it? I don't think she actually can afford it, but and I'm a horror. Sometimes I really can be a bitch, believe me. Like the moment Johnny actually put out the statement on TikTok and thanking his fans, blah blah blah, and moving forward, the moment Amber Heard was like, oh, this is not moving forward, it's moving backwards for domestic violence. Like, stop putting yourself as a survivor. You're not talking for any of us. You're not. Like, phew, out of the door, woman. Stop trying to be a spokeswoman for people who are actually went through domestic violence or sexual assault. Stop it. No, only for that statement I would sue the shit out of her again. Like, So, it really depends if, and Johnny seems to be a pretty calm and relaxed person if he doesn't drink. Okay? So, I don't know. I think it will be more about what Amber will be doing. Like, she actually can't go to him. Or can go to him and just saying, okay, I don't have the money, how can we fix this? Okay? And Johnny would probably say, well, you never, ever, 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 ever say somewhere again that I beat you, or I'm perpetrator, or I'm the abuser, or whatsoever. That would be a good outcome for her. But, and then we actually can see if the lawyers are, or the psychologist and things are right as well. What will she do? Like, she is pretty full of herself, and she lost all her credibility, so it's like, oh, I want to have it back because so you have a big chance that she will actually come out and just make it even worse for herself. So if we get more news that's actually exciting or piss me off, like what it did today when I heard the I was already pissed off when I heard Elaine her interviews, that I was like, okay, this needs to stop. But it really dragged me over after Amber her response to Johnny's TikTok. Like, stop it. You know, you're making it worse for people. Actually, and that was the same in the interview. Okay, and I talked about it a little before, about the pile of evidence you need when you're a victim of domestic violence. You don't. Okay, don't put yourself in danger. Don't put yourself in danger to hide bloody cameras and shit like that, because 99% of the victims don't do that. They don't make pictures, they don't make photos, they don't make bloody videos of, no, they don't. So you don't need that. Okay? The only thing you need to do is to take care and get out. You know, try to find some place or someone you actually can talk to and you can go. And it makes me so angry that you have here a lawyer on TV and actually breaking all the hope for any domestic violence victim in this world. Because they believe you, okay? Elaine. They believe they don't have a choice and they can't go anywhere because they don't have a pile of evidence. And you didn't have a pile of evidence. You had a pile of fabricated fucking shit that wasn't even true and got bloody burned in the court. That's not evidence. That is a calculated brain fart of Amber trying to actually set up her husband. That's being a bitch. Okay? So, that said, I will be my calm self again. If you are a domestic violence victim, try to get out. Try to get help. Try to connect with anybody. But don't stay there because you are too afraid. Don't stay there because you don't have a pile of evidence. And you think nobody can help you. Okay? Please. Okay, guys. At the moment we're busy with updating our YouTube channel. We are renewing, yes, our videos. So they will be online week by week. Some you have already seen, some have a bit. We changed some things to make it more clear and understandable. So I think that will be up next Sunday. So we will have our next stream soon, I hope. I hope this would be it in the Johnny and Amber saga. If something really exciting happens, like, I don't know what, Amber is suing Johnny because of, I don't give a, but we will be back then with Amber and Johnny. If not, we will be back with our normal chatting about mental health and other issues, of course. So if you haven't followed yet, really appreciate if you can, and have a good day. See you guys.